Hi, welcome to Freelance Client Secrets Module 2, Video 2. In this video, I go over how to bid effectively. In this video, I'm going to go over fixed amount bidding, relative bidding, which I'll explain later, when to bid lower than average, when to bid high, featured jobs and featured bids, invite jobs, and what to do if you get invited to an hourly job if you only do fixed price work. So first I'm going to go over fixed amount bidding. Situations when you might bid a fixed amount is when you have a clear idea of how long it will take to do something. Generally, you will just bid the same amount on all projects of this nature. Some examples are writing a 500-page article or designing a logo. I know that some articles and logo assignments might take longer than others, but for the most part you can usually make a pretty good guess on how long it will take on average. Next, I'm going to talk about relative bidding, which means that you will look at other people's bids and use their bids as a guideline to help determine what you should bid. A lot of times, when people don't have a clear understanding of how much something is worth, they base the value on what other people are bidding. This can occur for projects like web design when both the client and the coders aren't sure how long it will take to complete or how much work will be involved. There are three strategies: bid below average, above average, or average. When I first started, I bid a little below average and was able to get work super fast. Although I suspect that I probably didn't have to go that low, and my recommendation is to not bid below average even when starting out. Bidding average or a little above is a good strategy when you are starting. If your bid is close to offshore workers, but you are from the US, then a lot of US-based individuals will hire you because you are price competitive and a native US worker. Nowadays, I almost always bid higher than everyone else because I have more experience and feedback to back it up. This results in less work, but higher paying work and more pay overall. There are actually some times when you might want to bid lower than everyone else. One example is for super easy jobs that you can take early on just to get feedback. For me, tasks like installing Google Analytics, which only takes a few minutes to do, was one example. I would basically just bid the lowest amount allowed, which is $20 on Elance. Sometimes people bid too high on a project and the average bid is higher than it should be. This can be a good opportunity to bid lower to get the job. High bids can occur if people don't understand the complexity of a job, or even if the client's description is really long. In any case, I've won some good projects by bidding a reasonable amount on these job postings. There are a couple of times when I might want to bid average or closer to what everyone else is bidding. When there are generic projects that anyone can do, then I might bid average. An example is a website where the client isn't super picky about the appearance and doesn't need any special functionality, and also if I sense that the client is an individual with a limited budget rather than a corporation. If workload is slow, then lowering your bid amount can help you to get more projects. There are certain times when you'll want to bid high on a project. If you are invited to bid on a project where it may be hard to estimate time, then bid high enough to cover the worst case scenario. If you think a client may be picky about the little things, which will result in more work, then you will want to bid higher to cover your time. Sometimes you can tell by all the little things they are asking for in the job description or during the interview. When you get more feedback and are more in demand, then bid higher than average so that you can get better clients. For vague job descriptions, if I bid on these projects, then I will add more to my bid to cover any potential extra work. Featured jobs cost more to bid on, but may result in less competition. Elance claims that featured jobs get more bids, but I'm not sure if this is true or not. On one hand, they are more visible, but on the other hand, it costs extra to bid on these jobs. I usually bid on it anyways if I think it is a good fit because it only costs one extra connect. Featured bids cost you extra, but places your bid higher than everyone else's. This increases the likelihood that the client will see your bid. Consider using this feature if your expertise are better than the competition and on jobs where there are tons of bidders. Using a featured bid will help you get noticed and increase your chances of getting the job, although I'm not sure if it is worth the extra expense. When a client invites you to bid on a job on Elance, you get a free bid. There are two types of invite situations. Number one is when the employer invites everyone that was suggested by Elance, and number two is when the employer actually searches for and selects specific people. If the employer selects only specific freelancers, for example, US only, then you may have a better chance and might be able to bid higher. If it looks like they just invited a bunch of random people, then just bid normally. So now I'm going to talk about what to do for hourly jobs. First of all, if the hourly rate is too low, then I usually just decline it because I don't want to waste my time. Sometimes you can bid higher anyways if it is a free bid, and sometimes the client will accept bids that are higher than what they originally listed if they really like you. If the rate is okay, but you only do fixed price work, then message the client and suggest a fixed price. Sometimes a client will actually like this, and I have convinced some employers to switch to fixed price. You can do hourly work if you want, but remember that it may restrict your earnings potential if you have a high rate. And you definitely should avoid doing hourly work at a low rate because it may cause potential employers to see you as unskilled labor. This is the end of Module 2, Video 2. In the next module, I go over interviewing the client and how to close the sale.